So I just got up and checked my social media, so I'm a bit tired and a bit unshaven, so excuse that. I just wanted to talk about the stigma around seeing a therapist. I checked my social media and I got some comments that basically implied that seeing a therapist is a last resort and that it's like, oh, I have to because nothing else will work. And to me, this suggests that there's still a massive stigma about getting therapy. And I just wanted to address that because really, for me, therapy is one of the cornerstones of my mental health. I see a therapist maybe once a month and more if something's going on that needs to be addressed. Now, I don't think that people should consider therapy a last resort. Think about it and think about this like quite logically. A lot of people don't have the time or the capacity or the resources to share and express their feelings. They don't have an outlet to get it out. This is one of the reasons why I like writing therapy, because you can take a pen and pad anywhere and just write down what you feel. But for most people, they've not tried that or they don't consider it. But also, people need that person to respond back and to give them advice and talk about it, right? And this is the typical role of friends. Now, there's definitely a correlation between gender and suicide. There are way more male suicides than female, and one of the reasons that the research suggests is because when females start talking, well, females talk about it for one, they share and they discuss and they offload on each other. They use their friendship groups as counselling therapy sessions. And if they do attempt suicide, they will talk about it once again, and their friends will, take action and share and talk. So women in general have a more social outlet, but unfortunately, men, there's that issue with people thinking that if a man talks about his emotions or his feelings, he's weak. So what does a man do instead? Well, they go to their friends, they seem sad, and instead of talking about it, they turn to drugs or alcohol. And once again, this isn't me talking, this is the research talking, that men's coping mechanisms typically isn't talking with their friends, it's typically inebriation. This obviously exacerbates the problem and subsequently makes it worse and doesn't really address it. So why is therapy important? Well, for both men or women, but particularly for men, if you don't have an outlet to address and to talk and to express yourself, if you don't have an outlet to say, hey, I'm feeling like this, and someone to respond back and go, hey, that's normal, or this is what you should try, or this is what the research suggests, or these are some coping mechanisms, or whatever, you're now on your own and you think that your problems are all of your own. I just posted a video talking about how I get a bit of anxiety when I'm in shopping malls and big shopping centres. And, a comment was basically that this person shared it and that on that person's feed, someone suggested that I need to see a therapist and get diagnosed. And I responded back, well, yeah, I do see a therapist. Like that's normal. But the reason I'm sharing these videos isn't because every little thing needs to be diagnosed or that sort of thing. It's basically because everyone suffers anxiety or depression or other issues to some level. Mental health is on a spectrum. So whilst my anxiety might be higher or lower than yours, we can both relate to it, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm sort of sharing myself openly and honestly. And I suggested that, well, there'll be things that this commenter couldn't do as well as I could do. And it'd be easy for me to go, well, he needs to be diagnosed. But it's sort of a little bit cheeky in that regard. The reason I'm saying this is because all of this talk, I appreciate the talk around mental health and mental illness, and I appreciate that people should get diagnosed if they need it, but I'm more suggesting that people need to just openly express themselves and talk. And even if you, quote, aren't diagnosed and don't have a mental health concern, seeing a therapist can help you. As in, like everyone has stress, everyone deals with issues. So like if you just broke up with someone and you've never had an experience of a mental health concern in your life, you still might need a therapist to help you just work through the emotions and the feelings and the stuff that you're going, because you might not actually know how to handle it because you've never dealt with that sort of stuff, and like you'll be facing mental duress that is unknown to you. So who do you go to if you haven't got a friendship group that can support you like that? And not all friendship groups can, and that's normal, that's okay. So employ the services of a therapist, speak to someone in real life, speak to someone online. This is part of the reason why I share what I am with the world, because people can comment and I can comment back, and there can be a comment thread and people can talk and say, hey, I've experienced that too, I feel like this too. And even though it's just with, you know, a random stranger online, there is that option to talk it through. So anyway, if you appreciate this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're enjoying what I'm doing here, I would really appreciate you considering supporting me on Patreon. Patreon's a way that you can support content creators like myself with monthly contributions. I'm only asking for $1 per month because on your end it's basically unnoticeable. But, you know, as a bunch of you guys get together and decide to support me, it'll make a massive difference on my end. It means I could write more blogs, podcasts, videos, and books, and basically get more of this content out there that's, you know, helping you and helping other people. So if you think you can support me, head over to patreon.com/ZachPPhillips. You'll also be able to check out some of the bonuses for people that decide to contribute for me. So check it out. Thank you.